want to be remembered? And I thought his answer, of course, was just perfect. He goes, I want to be remembered as being a good teammate, respected by all the coaches and my peers. I want everybody to know I love the game of football.
And the Denver Broncos have taken Super Bowl 50.
Beer, Broncos, and
Hello
no BS.
again, Broncos Country.
Welcome
Really
to
excited
Beer,
to chop up some Broncos.
Orange Weekly. No politics, just football. Orange Weekly. No politics, just football.
Always gotta rock orange, that's just how I roll. I'm rocking orange, man. Word up. I'll be rocking with the Broncos. I'm rocking orange, man. Hey. Always gotta rock orange, that's just how I roll. I'm rocking orange, man. You see it? I'll be rocking with the Broncos. I've been rocking orange since an early age. Now since 9-7, I ain't miss a game. Came up with TD and Rod Smith. I was riding with the team when they got the chip. Before the Chevrolets and the Lobster. I remember Elway's helicopter. I remember. I'm telling you, that man was a monster. Way before he had his hands on the roster. Way before. He turned the Broncos to a powerhouse. So you know I got a shout out to Johnny. Elway, he important, man. He the reason that I'm always rocking orange, man. Always gotta rock orange, that's just how I roll.
Hey everyone, Kev Dan here from Orange Weekly for the Week 1 episode of Beer, Broncos, and No BS. So, if you haven't watched the show before, go ahead and grab that beer, grab a bourbon, whatever you want, I don't care, some booze. Kick back, relax, and join the conversation with us. We want to hear your thoughts on the Broncos preseason and just everything else we're going to talk about going into Week 1, the beat the Raiders week, starting off the season right, go into Oakland, Monday Night Football, prime time right there. So we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. And we want to hear your thoughts on it. So please post some comments, questions, and we'll get to it. We already see some people joining, so thanks for that. But I want to bring on the one, the only, David. How you doing, buddy?
Oh man, great to be back, Kev. It's opening week. It's Beat the Raiders week. Where else would you possibly want to be on a Tuesday night?
I mean, this is where I am every Tuesday night, but it's because it's awesome, right?
Amen to that.
Oh man. Okay, we already got Brenda in here. How you doing? Says go Broncos. Marcus says smash the Faders. I think that's going to happen. We'll break down why we think that here in a little bit. But just to start things off, preseason is over, guys. I don't want to say thank God. Preseason has its own purpose. It definitely served its purpose, and by week 4, I think we were all over preseason. But, David, I want to get your takes on some of the things you saw during the preseason that good, bad, maybe something that had you worried or something that had you excited, man.
You know, excited, first of all. Let's start off with excited. I really like to start off with a little bit of optimism here. The defense, man, it is going to be nasty, this defense. I think we've got all 3 group phases of the defense are going to be working together this season. I think the scheme is going to be tailored to these players. They're going to be able to execute it very, very well, this Vic Fangio defense. We've got elite players at important positions on this defense, like pass rusher. We've got riches to spare at pass rusher. You know, our secondary, which we thought starting this year was going to be maybe one of the biggest question marks on the team, has really turned, I think, into one of our biggest strengths. And it's going to really be fun to watch these guys work together and execute this scheme against teams like the Raiders coming up this week. You know, one thing, I don't know about concern. I don't get really concerned or worked up about anything that happens in preseason just because of what we're seeing and how little of it is going to translate onto into real game action on Sundays. But we'll just have to see how the offensive line plays. I think that's going to be, I mean, we've talked about it kind of at length this season. It's just going to have to be wait and see if this offensive line comes together. I think they're better on paper than they were a year ago. They've certainly got better coaching than they had a year ago.
Well, no doubt.
Going to have to, you know, they've got to put it out there and show it on the field. You know, there's guys that we've talked about over and over again, Garrett Bowles, who, you know, for better or worse, this is going to be a make or break season for him. And as he goes, so the offensive line will go. And as the offensive line goes, so will the offense go. We're just going to have to see how that plays out. But man, that I'll tell you, that's why we play the games. And starting on Monday night, we get to actually play one. And I'm really excited.
I mean, first off, we got a question here. What channel will the Denver game be on? It's going to be on ESPN, 8:20 p.m. Mountain Time, I believe. So 9:20 my time here in Florida. So, Keith, how you doing? Completely agree. It is time for real football. Like I said, preseason can be fun if you know what you're watching for, but otherwise, it's time to get to the real deal here. Misty, how you doing? Vicky, how you doing? Rosario, hello from Texas. How you doing? Glad to have you. Frank says, kill them Raiders. And Joey says, see what number 72 does. Fingers crossed. So let's just kind of start down. There's a lot of good things to talk about, but I do want to start with the offensive line like you were touching on, because that is such a key role in the offense. If the offensive line does not perform, you don't have a run game. You don't have a pass game. Your quarterback's not getting protected. He's getting sacked. He's having to throw the ball, hurry the ball, making, you know, incomplete passes, all that stuff, right? So the offense is not getting anything going. Yeah, we might have a strong defense, which we'll talk about in a minute, but it doesn't matter how strong that defense is. So, David, kind of more in depth, what do you think about Garrett Bowles this year? Have you seen anything promising from preseason and just the offensive line in general? How do you think they're really going to hold up?
You know, outside of a one holding penalty, which according to the coaches wasn't his fault. I'm not football smart enough to disagree with the coach there. You know, it was a mixed preseason for Garrett Bowles. I saw some good stuff with some good plays out of him and some plays where I thought he might want to have that one back a little bit. It's just, you know, right now for him, if he's going to improve, he's got the guy that's going to help him improve in Mike Munchak. If anybody in the league is going to be able to help Garrett Bowles reach his potential, it's going to be that guy. And so we're just going to have to see if he can do it or not. I think this is a make or break year for him. And I think the coaching staff and the general manager are all going to be very, very closely watching him to see if he does take that next step, or if he kind of regresses a little bit into a guy who, can't do anything but grab onto jerseys and hold on for dear life. If that's the case, if we see that again, I think you're looking at Denver spending some draft capital to get an offensive tackle next year in the first couple of rounds, and that's just the way it's going to be. If you can't prove that you can stick around in this league, you're not going to stick around in this league. That being said, I do have optimism. I think I think we talked about our panic scale a little bit last time, so I'm not going to go too much further into it. But I do think that he can turn around and have a better season, certainly, than he did last year. And I think the offensive line, certainly with Jawan James at right tackle, he went and spent a bunch of money to get that guy in and hopefully turn a position that has been a turnstile for us into a position of strength along that line. So that, those two bookend spots are going to be really where we're going to be focusing. I think a lot of eyes are going to be focused come Monday night. And I think hopefully we're going to see some good results out of that, and the better results from the offense will flow from there. I really believe that's going to happen this year, Kev.
Let's see. Greg says, who's the biggest sleeper on our team? We'll get to that. But Joey says, it's not going to be perfect with 72. Let's see if he gets better as the season goes on. So
that's it.
I'm not expecting perfection from him. My panic scale is not high on him. I'd say it's a 5 out of 10. It's not really a panic. It's just, And the reason why I don't expect much from him is because of one play that I saw in the preseason. That big bomb that Flacco threw down to Emmanuel Sanders for a huge gain. That was his one penalty. And while I'm not a ref and I can't sit there and say, what exactly they saw, what I did see out of all the other plays I saw from him this preseason is that's when he reverted back to his old self of grabbing of the jersey, pulling the guy down. Everything that, from what I have seen before, is a clear holding penalty. So I'm worried that when Garrett Bowles gets in that pressure situation going, I've really got to get the quarterback an extra 1 or 1.5 seconds to make this big play happen, boom, he reverted back. Now, that was also like 3 weeks ago. But I'm afraid that if we get back in that position where, okay, it may be a mundane play, maybe a run, maybe a short pass, but if we call it for a big pass, that's where Garrett Bowles is going to regress. And I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I'm thinking.
Well, and that's the play I was referring to too when the coaches came out after and said that was not actually on Garrett Bowles. He set, and this is according to the coaches, he set according to the idea that he was going to have a tight end chip on the block, and that was why he set his blocking stance the way he did, which then allowed the defender to just blow past him a little bit because he didn't get that tight end chip. So it's the kind of situation where if you believe the coaching staff, and I have no reason to think that the coaching, this is not a coaching staff that strikes me as a coaching staff that's going to make something up to make the media go easier on a player. They're, if they're not going to say anything at all, rather than make something up that's going to try to make the player look better if it's not true. Yeah. Again, I'm not a coach, and I don't know if how much truth there is to that or what the play call was. But you're right. It's just going to have to be something that's going to be bear watching. Part of this offense is big plays down the field, and that's part of the reason that Joe Flacco was the quarterback that was brought in this year. He's got that arm. He can make those plays down the field, and he's a guy that you want to be able to give that extra second to because he's going to be able to reward you on the other end with it if you can give him that time. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be something we test early in Oakland. Honestly, I think we're going to see some shot plays down the field against a secondary in Oakland that's not as one of among the league's elite, let's say. Yeah. So I think we're going to see very soon whether or not, Garrett Bowles and the rest of that line can hold up in the pass protection that they're needed to do.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the same thing. I might be reading a little too much into it, and I didn't hear those comments right there. But that could be the case. I hope that's the case. That was just he set up incorrectly based off of what he thought was going to happen. Didn't actually turn out to be that way. But that's definitely something I'm going to keep an eye on. I think most of us will. Let's get to tons of questions, guys. We'll try to get through them here. But Greg says, also, before I do that, my name's Kev Dan. I'm joined here by David on Beer Broncos No BS. Grab that beer, bourbon, booze, whatever you want, and post some comments for us. And then if you want to hit that share button as well, we'd really appreciate it. Greg says, who is the biggest sleeper on the team? I have got a couple. I think that Tim Patrick might have a much bigger impact than what a lot of people think. It's not a name you really hear a lot, but I've seen enough moments over the last year, especially 2 years, to see this guy really step up in times that he's needed. So yeah, I think he's wide receiver 4, I believe, if not 5.
That's right.
But I think when he's out there, he's still going to be a threat. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm looking for Tim Patrick to really have a good year in that wide receiver 4 spot. What are you thinking, man?
Well, I'm going to do 2 since the first one that I had in mind is the same position group as yours, but not the same person.
That's fine.
I'm thinking a name I'm going to be watching is Deshaun Hamilton. A guy who is known in camp and around the team as somebody who runs very good routes, very precise routes, and is somebody who I think is going to develop timing and a rapport with Joe Flacco very quickly, especially Flacco being, I would say, certainly the most professional quarterback as far as skills go that we've seen in here since Peyton Manning. He's a guy who's going to value that timing with receivers. He's going to value receivers who know how to get open based on their route running ability and not just based on being able to go up and get 50-50 balls. So I think that's going to be one person who takes a big step forward under this offense is Deshaun Hamilton because of his ability to get open with that route running and build that chemistry with Joe Flacco. The other one I'm going is defense this time. I think Justin Simmons is a guy that you could see definitely take a big step forward. We saw last year in the Fangio defense that free safety position is a turnover machine.
Yeah.
He's always in a position to be around the ball. He's always going to be a guy who has a chance to make picks if he plays the position correctly. And that's one thing I think Justin Simmons, with that natural athleticism that he hasn't really tapped into all of his football gifts yet, I don't think.
Right.
And I think if anybody's going to be able to bring those out in him, it's going to be this coaching staff right here. So that's a guy on defense that those are my big 2 sleepers for Greg. That's a great question. I'm really glad we got that question.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, keep posting comments, questions. Really appreciate your guys' input. That's why we're doing this here at Orange Weekly. We do this for you guys. So bring your friends on board, post those comments, questions, whatever you want us to talk about, and we'll go through them for sure. Wayne, how you doing? He says, ground and pound for some play action pass to a wide open Cortland Sutton for the final score. He's thinking Broncos 27, Raiders 17. We'll get to our score predictions later on. I tell you how we're going to do those this year, but that run game is not just the foundation of the Broncos, but especially the foundation for the Vic Fangio Broncos, I believe. Really getting that. I think you're going to see the majority of the time we're going to run on first down. We're going to maybe even run the majority of the time on second down. And that's something to watch how well we're going to try to balance those out to try and keep teams from figuring out what we're doing. But I think when it comes down to it, if we have the chance to run, we're going to run more often than not. And David, how do you think that's going to go based off what you've seen in the preseason?
Well, absolutely. And that's one thing in the preseason I would have liked to see a little more success with was that run game. Now, it's impossible. Somebody made the comment earlier, Keith just made the comment, it's impossible to judge the starters. You saw them for a grand total of 2 minutes in the preseason.
Right.
And so I'm really not going to be that worried about the run game until we can't get it going against a team like Oakland, against a team that, year to year, of course, these things change. But last year, they didn't have a terrific defensive line. And they their first draft pick this year was a pass rusher. So not a guy who you want to count on to shore up a run defense is, a defensive end in that 4-3 scheme like they picked in Cleveland Farrell. If you can't have good success with a rushing attack planned by Mike Munchak and Rich Scangarello, featuring Philip Lindsay and Royce Freeman, if you can't get it going against Oakland, then I will be pretty concerned going into that next week to see if that'll be a problem. Until then, I'm, like I said, I'd like to have seen more in preseason, but I'm not reading anything into that. If that's, but as goes that run game, I mean, that's the scheme. The run game really does turn everything else loose for this offense, that play action pass. Those deep shots down the field, they are really all going to be set up by those run plays and those naked bootlegs that come off of those run plays. It's just going to have to come together for them. All these guys are kind of getting into a new scheme, especially these offensive linemen into the zone blocking scheme that Munchak and Scangarello run. And last year, it was more of a power scheme. We're just going to have to see if they can adjust and how quickly. I think they've got the talent to do it, and they've certainly got guys behind them in Freeman and in Lindsay who can create if there's not quite the blocking up front that they need it to be. Cody asks a pretty good question. Why does nobody think that Philip Lindsay isn't a solid number running back 1 or 2? Is it backed by committee with Freeman? And it's going to kind of be this year. I think the coaching staff really likes Royce Freeman. They really like what he can do in this offense specifically, and they're going to try and get him some more looks, especially since we saw Philip Lindsay. You know, last year they really tried to do everything with Philip Lindsay, and he showed he could do it. He could run between the tackles, but he did have that wrist injury that was not a very common wrist injury among running backs. And it does bring up that point that a guy with his body size and his weight, less than 200 pounds, you don't want him banging through the tackles 10 to 15 times every game if you can help it. Especially if you've got a guy like Royce Freeman who can do it and do that effectively. So we are going to see a little bit more of a carry split there. I do still think they're going to put the ball into Philip Lindsay's hands when he has opportunities to be electric, when he's going to have those plays that he can bust into 10 or 15-yard runs. So I think his production is probably going to be about similar to what you saw last year. I just don't know that he's going to get the ball 15 or 20 times a game. They kind of want him to hold up for the rest of the season, I think.
Now, I could see him getting 1,000 total combined yards, not rushing yards. And it's not just split carries, but remember, Vic Fangio's putting out a lot of those 2 running back sets. So now not only are you splitting it with 1 running back the whole game, and even the 3rd running back every now and then, but there's 2 out on the field. So you have 2 options of which running back you're going to use as well. So in addition to, like I just said, they're going to be using the passing game a lot with Fangio's system. You're not going to see the rush yards there. And I think with all those factors that David talked about, you know, the injury, we're talking about the 2-back set. That's why I think these experts are downplaying him this year, especially because of that injury. So I don't think he's as low ranked in some of those. If you do fantasy football, you saw he was ranked pretty low. I don't think he's nearly as low as he is, or as he should be. But it's something to watch for sure. So. I'm all for the guy. Jason from here at Orange Weekly met Philip Lindsay last week, which he tried to get him on the show, and Philip was just like, "I'd love to, but I'm just way too busy right now." And I was like, "That's fine. I understand."
It's like, what could you possibly have to do this week that could be?
There's
more
nothing, right?
Than coming on our show. I feel like only Philip Lindsay and 52 other guys have that excuse.
Exactly.
Everybody else, you'd rather be here.
Exactly. Hey guys, my name is Kevin, and I'm joined here by David on Beer Broncos No BS. Hit that share button for us, post your comments, questions, and we'll go down the list and talk about all the Broncos topics you want to talk about. Keith says, it's really hard to judge how the starters will be when we saw them for 2 minutes, and that you brought that up a second ago. But the point I want to make with this, the question I want to ask with this, is we didn't see them in the Broncos' 4th or 5th preseason games. I think a lot of teams reverted to that because of the number of injuries we saw across the NFL in the first couple weeks of the preseason. But especially under a new head coach and a new starting quarterback, do you think that was more of a coach saying, "Hey, I trust our guys. They're going to be ready for week 1," or was it more of a, "Hey, we don't want to get anyone hurt, and we'll figure out week 1 when we get there"? What do you think it was, one of those two, or both, or what do you think, David?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think that, guys who maybe needed some more time in the system, like some of the starting offensive linemen saw a few more reps than guys like Joe Flacco, who's played in a similar system, and things like that. I think, I think there was a lot of preservation of your guys, especially with how many training camp injuries this team has already sustained, and kind of freak training camp injuries at the same position over and over and over again, like tight end and inside linebacker. When you're the coaching staff and you see that kind of thing happening, it's a question of, all right, are my guys picking up this stuff fast enough? Do I really need to send them out there for live reps when all they're going to get is hurt and they're not going to learn how to do anything better? Or do they need to learn a little better, or is the learning curve a little steeper for these guys? Would they benefit from those live reps? So I think that you saw the guys who got more live reps in preseason needed them, and the guys who didn't, the coaching staff probably just decided it wasn't worth it to expose them to injury.
It's going to be interesting for sure. And guys, just remember, week 1 football is anything happens. Anything can happen. Week 1 football is just weird. Hopefully the ball bounces correctly in our direction a time or two to help us out a little bit. I do believe that we're the better team over the Raiders, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But just keep in mind, it's not going to be pretty football. It's not going to be mid-season football. So just remember that when you see, holding penalties or just penalties in general.
Sloppy returns on kick returns.
Exactly.
It's going to happen.
That's something I'm going to talk about in a second too. Let's see. Talked about those. He says there's no love for Broncos out there. Yeah, depending on where you're at. Completely agree. Let's see down here. Let's see. Joey says for the defensive side on the sleepers, he says Yadam. And for the offensive side, Freeman. So we kind of talked about Freeman a little bit yet, but another name we haven't heard too much of is Isaac Yadam. So, David, what do you expect to see from him this year?
Oh, he's another guy, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, guys, but up on the website that we've got going now, I just posted a roster rundown of every position that we've got on the team, the whole 53-man roster, position by position. And Yadam is a name that stood out to me when I was filling that one out. A guy who's really going to benefit, I think, from the teachers that he's got now in Vic Fangio and Ed Donatel. I think that he's a guy who is absolutely due for a step forward. And I think we saw that a little bit this preseason already. A guy with good athleticism and decent instincts, at least at that cornerback position, and good size as well. A willing tackler and somebody who can anticipate routes a little bit in this zone defense. He's going to be, I think, a really, really spectacular player, or has that potential to be. If he devotes himself to it, I really think he could take a big step forward this season.
I'm excited to see what the whole secondary does in general, if you ask me. Is it going to be a no-fly zone? Maybe. With Chris Harris back there on a 1-year contract, trying to make, really prove that he deserves another contract after this, or if he knows he's going to be a free agent, try to prove to some other team that he can still be useful. Chris Harris can go out there and be go all out every game. And I mean, not to say that he hasn't done that, but I expect top-notch from Chris Harris every single week. In terms of Yadam and the rest of the secondary, I think they're going to step up as well because I think we've seen how important our defense is really going to be this year. If we let a team throw for multiple 100-yard, 300-400 yards a game, kind of like we saw last year, just ton of passing yards against us, there's no hope, if you ask me. So a lot of it's really going to come down to not just the defense, but the secondary as well, because you better bet that teams early on in the season at least are really going to test our secondary. They're going to see, hey, can we throw the ball on them and just kill them, or oh crap, they're shutting us down, we got to go back to something else. But teams, and I think you're going to see that Monday night, teams are really going to be testing us in our secondary.
It's a good test. We've got Monday night. Tyrell Williams, of course, Antonio Brown. I don't think the feet issue, helmet issue, or any issue that you could possibly want to slow him down is going to slow him down. I think he's going to be there in 100% game action ready for week 1. And it's a good test for our secondary. A lot of young guys back there, guys who I think are due for steps up. But it's a young secondary mixed with some older guys as well. So I think playing assignment sound football is going to be the first thing I'm looking for from these guys. No blown coverages. Keep the ball in front of you. If it gets completed, it gets completed. But don't allow a lot of runs after the catch. Tackle the ball carrier where he is. And we've seen that these guys can do that so far in the preseason at the very least. As long as they're sticking in their assignments, I think that they're going to be able to take care of business and let that pass rush get home. But it's going to be something we're going to, like you said, we're going to be tested early and often this season. So we're going to have to adjust pretty quickly to that.
And with Vic Fangio calling those the defensive calls, I'm not worried about it. But you just better bet that you're going to see a lot of, I think even Monday night, Derek Carr is going to try to throw the ball as deep and as often as he possibly can to try and see what this Denver defense is all about.
John Gruden loves to be flashy, and in a primetime game, I think that you're exactly right. We're going to see some splash plays attempted from them. Let's see what this defense can do. Okay,
let's see. Corey asks, what's your opinion on true ceiling for Flacco? Game manager or game changer? He's been solid through camp, so I've read, but nothing explosive or raving about him or his arm strength. So one of the things I heard on 104.3 The Fan about a week ago now was there's two groups of people out there. People who are like, Joe Flacco just is not going to be our guy, and the group that says Joe Flacco is the guy. If you're in the camp who thinks Joe Flacco is not going to be the guy, you would not have seen anything in training camp that changed your mind. If you're in the group that says Joe Flacco is our guy, you would not have seen anything in training camp that would have changed your mind. He's been middle of the road so far. Middle of the road isn't bad. Don't get me wrong. He's consistent. He wasn't trying to do anything fancy or explosive in training camp. Not to say that he can't do that in the season, but I think what this offense needs is a Joe Flacco, a competent, comfortable, relaxed, just really smart with the football kind of guy who's not going to turn over the ball nearly as much as we did the last 2 years, who's going to be able to manage that game, make the good on-field calls, and just keep the football moving. I mean, we've seen that several times here in the preseason. And you think back to the previous year when Trevor Siemian went out 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And how many times do we see that during the regular season as well? So I think Joe Flacco is the guy we need, not because he's explosive and he's not going to fail on us, but he's going to be that middle guy, that middle of the road guy that's just going to be consistent and protect the football. Thoughts?
This offense can succeed with
Yeah.
Joe Flacco. This team can succeed with Joe Flacco. That's my take on it at the very least. Joe Flacco is a guy who will not hold this offense back with his quarterback play. Case Keenum held this team back with his quarterback play at times last season, and it wasn't all his fault. There were coaching issues. There were issues with scheme. There were issues with players. But at times, Case Keenum held back the team. Joe Flacco's not going to do that. He has the strength and the arm to, kind of hate this cliche, but he really can make all the throws. He can make the NFL throws. He can make the big boy throws when he needs to. He can step up in a 3rd and 10 situation and deliver you a first down when you have to have one, if other things are working for you. So is that a game manager? I guess, since I don't think Joe Flacco, if he ever was, is a guy who significantly raises the talent level of the skilled players around him.
Right.
That's just not his game. It really never has been. So if you put pieces around him, he can be successful with those pieces. And I think there are good pieces around him in Denver now. What's his ceiling as far as wins? 10, 11 is the absolute tippy top of the ceiling for me. I just don't think that with the question marks on this roster and a couple of position groups that we are an elite team in this league, which is where I would put us if we were at 12 wins or more. But, we can definitely be a surprise team in this league, a team that takes a wild card spot and wins 9, 10, or 11 games. That would not surprise me at all. That would surprise a lot of people, but we have, I think, the roster talent to do that. And I think Joe Flacco's, if we do hit that win total, Joe Flacco's play is going to be a big part of the reason why.
We don't need Flacco to throw for a touchdown on half the drives. We have the defense.
That interception touchdown ratio or that touchdown interception ratio to 2 to 1,
right.
We are going to be really, really solid.
If we can get 2 touchdowns a game and 3 field goals, our defense is strong enough, I believe, from what I've seen in the preseason, what we know with, Von Miller and Chubb and Chris Harris and some of these other players. Shelby Harris stood out big time in the preseason. Derek Wolfe is always a threat. This defense, I think we've added between the coaching staff and Vic Fangio himself and a couple of those other key pieces we've got, this defense can hold teams to 20 points or less. If you can hold a team to 20 points or less, you should be able to beat them more often than not. So we don't need amazing things from Joe Flacco, and that's why I'm erring more on the side of 11 wins, but that's with the assumption of the defense is as strong as I believe it is and what I've seen in preseason, especially with Vic Fangio, and with the assumption that we're going to be able to move the ball consistently, not have nearly as many turnovers or 3 and outs that we've seen. And that's going to put the points on the board that we're going to need to win these games. So they might be close each game, but if you look how close we were to winning a lot of these games last year, we just need a little bit more, and all of a sudden we go from that 6-10 team to that 10-6 team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it can really flip like that. And I hear 1 or 2 prognosticators out there, people in the NFL world, who aren't sleeping on the Broncos quite as much as everybody else. But you know what? Right now, it's easy to crap on the Broncos. They've had a couple of bad years.
Yep.
You had the whole Vance Joseph experience, which didn't reflect well on anybody.
Nope.
And so now it's a team with more questions than answers and a quarterback who hasn't had a lot of recent success in recent seasons. There's reason to think that all of that can be turned around with this coaching staff. I think we're in for a hell of a season one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Alfred here says, "What's up, Denver Broncos for life?" Cheers to that, Alfred. You know what?
Always.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for watching.
Always.
Go ahead and hit retweet, hit share, and I'm going to drink to that.
Hell yeah. You can always drink to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Michael, hello from Arkansas. How you doing? Joey says he thinks ceiling Flacco 566 yards and 6 touchdowns. I'm thinking in the first game. That's a bit of a stretch. That's like Peyton Manning numbers. He also says we as Bronco fans can't panic. We have to understand the new quarterback, first-time head coach / new first-time offensive coordinator, so it might take us some time to develop. And that's fine. I'm not expecting this team to go to the Super Bowl this year. This is, if Vic Fangio keeps growing over the next 2-3 years and getting better, and we keep adding a couple, really solid players in the draft, like I think we got at least 2, if not 3, in this year's draft alone. And then, was it Malik Reed, the undrafted free agent that made the roster? He had, 2 sacks, if not 3, on that last preseason game? And he's just looked great throughout the whole preseason. I mean, that looks like it could be a hell of a steal if he turns out to be half the players he's looked in the preseason.
We've got an embarrassment of riches at pass rusher. We've got guys backing up guys who could start on other teams pretty easily.
Exactly. So, yes, it's going to take this team some time to develop, but I think we could be back in that deep playoff run conversation in, I'd say, 1 to 2 years, depending on how this year turns out.
And, boy, if Drew Lock develops, who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Who knows?
Easily. Somebody did ask earlier, how long is Drew Lock supposed to be out? If you guys didn't see, Drew Lock is out for the season. They did place him on season-ending IR. But that brings up to a good point that we haven't talked about yet. So then who's our backup quarterback? Because we cut Hogan. Rypiens was released, but we signed him as the practice squad team. So who's our backup? David?
So first, because I do want to address one real quick. It's actually no longer out for the season if Drew Lock's been put on the IR. It did sound like it's going to be at least 6 weeks before he can come back. But they do, of course, they have the 2 players that you can bring back from IR now with that new rule change. You don't have to say who they are before the season starts. So
that's where I was confused.
Those 2 players as they come. It does sound like they probably are going to have him brought back and probably just keep him and Joe Flacco when he's healthy enough to do it.
Right.
Just because they want to make sure he gets all the practice reps possible.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they want to put him on the shelf for a season and then let him, and have him come back next year.
Right.
Without having had any additional reps.
I don't know where I read that, but I was wrong. I will confess I was wrong. I didn't do my due diligence there and
no problem.
Study
no problem.
that. What about?
I want to make sure.
Yeah.
On the same page there. Now moving on to the guy who we do have there. It's going to be, we picked up a guy off the waiver wire on cutdown day, a guy named Brandon Allen from the Los Angeles Rams. Not a spectacular career as a quarterback in the NFL, but that's why you're backup. Did fairly well against us. Went in the preseason game this year that we had against them, went 12 of 19 for 100-odd yards. Didn't score on us, but didn't throw an interception either. The coaching staff obviously liked what they saw when they got an up-close look at him playing for Los Angeles because they figured it was better than anything Kevin Hogan had been giving us, which is probably true. I mean, right. Kevin Hogan had what I would call an undistinguished preseason at best. So Brandon Allen, they bring him in. He's going to be a guy who's familiar with the system, having run a pretty similar system in Los Angeles under Sean McVay.
Right.
So a guy who's going to be comfortable if you have to call on him for some game action. Hopefully you don't have to.
Right.
But until Drew Lock is ready, that's a guy that they can at least be comfortable, knows the system, and will be able to turn things over to if something does happen.
So it'll be interesting to see what he, hopefully we never have to see him on the field, but was interesting that we kept these guys all preseason, Kevin Hogan especially, and then we cut him. So I think that says a lot, though, that we trust, this other guy. We trust Allen a whole lot more than we do Kevin Hogan. I think that says a lot. And if they're willing to make that move, I would assume that it's a good move in case that that worst case happens. Joey says Keenum isn't starting NFL QB. Yeah, he's not that level. Andy, one of our top fans, Flacco has experienced. He has experience. He's a leader and knows what he wants from his offense. Completely agree. I think we talked about that. Flacco hasn't had a lot of weapons lately as well. In addition to the injury last year, I think there's a lot of questions about what he can do, but I think we've talked about that. He does have a lot of weapons. Most people are saying we're going 5-11 or 6-10. Again, and we'll bring up the schedule here near the end of the show, guys, and kind of break down the near games as well as what we think for the season. But watch out for that. Let's see, Alfred. We already said hi to Alfred. Guys, keep posting your comments, questions for us. My name's Kev Dan. I'm joined here by David on Beer Broncos No BS. So grab that drink, whatever you want, booze, beer, bourbon, I don't care. And then make sure you hit that share button for us. We'd really appreciate all the help and support. Let's see. Joey says, "Where's my jersey?" I'm trying to make it look more professional here, man. I'm trying. We'll see. I wear my jersey on game days, though, of course, but
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
David's in his jersey. He's got it covered on that end.
That's it. Somebody had to show out.
Right.
Right.
I still got the pen, Mr. B
Yeah,
pen, so
well,
you know,
of course.
I'm doing something, right?
That's right.
See, Andy says, "We will be in the playoffs." I like the optimism, man. I like the optimism. I'm on that side of the optimistic scale as well, if you ask me. And you can ask these Orange Weekly guys. I'm usually the more optimistic one out of everyone.
All the orange Kool-Aid's coming from Kevin's house, that's for sure.
Someone's got to do it, right? We can't all be Debbie Downers. Let's see, Michael, what injury did he have? If you're referring to Drew Lock, it was a thumb injury, right?
Thumb sprain, pretty bad thumb sprain on his throwing.
He's got it in a
which
cast.
is-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the important hand, unfortunately.
I mean, you
Let's
could
see,
throw a
we've
football
got
with four
Victor.
fingers, but
Guys, what plays does the team need to make to get the damn ball in the end zone? We have to score touchdowns. It's been an Achilles heel for the last few years.
Victor, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. And that is something that we are going to have to watch pretty closely. And again, start of the season, you can't freak out if the guys only score, a couple of touchdowns in the first game. They have to settle for field goals. The win's the most important thing. But what you want to do is you want to score touchdowns when you get to that red zone. We have to improve that efficiency. It's been terrible over the last couple of years. And we've got a scheme now, I think, in place that's going to have, that was one thing that we did here in the preseason was the red zone offense was very, very basic. We didn't really see a lot of play designs that we're going to see in the regular season during the preseason. But at the same time, you wanted to see some more success than they had in the preseason for a team that's had the struggles that we've had over the last few years. So we're just going to have to keep watching it and find out. I think they're going to try and find a lot more ways to run the ball in the red zone. I think that's going to be a key for them and see what they can build off of that. Like everything in the offense goes, it's going to be built off the run first. And so I think what you're going to see first and foremost is them trying to get balls into the end zone with running backs and trying to pass it in from there if those initial attempts don't succeed. But it's going to bear watching. I really hope that they can improve that efficiency this year because that's going to lead to a lot more wins for us.
we have got to break that stigma. The Broncos are known for stalling in the red zone. McManus has gotten a lot of action from it. If you have him on your fantasy team, I mean, that's not a bad pickup for that reason, but it's not good for the Broncos. It's something that it's got to be fixed or at least addressed and look better on Monday night. It has to. If our first game we hold that stigma of we get to the red zone and we stall, guess what? That's just going to roll into game 2. It's going to roll into game 3, and it's going to be harder and harder for the players and even the teams playing us to break that vision of who the Denver Broncos are. So Monday night we have got to address it. Every time we get to the red zone doesn't mean we have to get a touchdown, but three times, 4 times, I'd be ecstatic if we got 4 touchdowns once we were in the red zone. I'd be ecstatic. Because when's the last time we've seen that, David?
It's Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, right?
I remember him throwing seven touchdowns against the Baltimore Ravens on opening weekend once. That was a long time ago now.
It sure feels like it, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's closer to 10 years ago than it is to 5 years ago.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Charlie says, let's get a good look at the cup, which is why I was Vanna Whiting it here for you guys. Joey says, is the Wednesday show still on Get Vocal? Yes. So, guys, just so you know, now the season is in full swing. Every Tuesday night here at 7 p.m. Mountain Time on Orange Weekly, we got the Beer Broncos No BS show, which is what we're doing right now. Wednesday nights, we got the good, the bad, and the ugly on getvocal.com. You can see the little icon down over right there. getvocal.com. It will be pushed to Facebook as well at the same time. But if you go to getvocal.com while we're on the air, which is also at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, by the way, you have the chance to hop up on stage with us, video call in, if you will, and be able to talk to us like David and I are doing to each other right now. So it gives you that opportunity. If you don't want to call in because maybe your hair's a mess or you haven't cleaned up the mess from your party that you had, the last weekend at your house or something, that's fine. You still got that chat section. We're going to have the Facebook chat up as well. But getvocal.com, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Our pregame and our postgame podcasts are coming back. David here, along with Matt, are going to be doing the pregame podcast shows while we wait for Jared to stop being so important doing other things. And then Tanner and Jeff are going to be doing our post-game podcast as well. You can check that out on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play. So Spotify is the big one. We got added to that this year, so check us out there as well. I think that is my spiel, along with the halftime hash that we're going to do at every halftime of every game. So plenty of Orange Weekly content for you there, guys. Pretty much, we got Tuesday night, we got Wednesday night, Thursday podcast, Friday's a down day. Saturday is a down day. Show on Sunday during halftime or game day. Monday or Tuesday is Monday is going to be our post-game podcast days. So majority of the week, you got Orange Weekly content for the Denver Broncos right here at Orange Weekly. Okay. Anything to add to that, David? That's kind of the full.
Just be on the lookout for our first pregame podcast posting this Friday. We're going to be recording that on Thursday and hopefully having it posted on Friday night. So that'll be back in action for you guys on iTunes and Spotify. You'll be enjoying that.
I know I will. It's a great podcast, guys. So make sure you check it out. Charlie says, I like the sunglasses, but the cup should be. You guys in the cup this show. Okay, whenever David can't co-host the show with me, I'll feature the cup. Okay, I'm just going to put it down before we get more comments on the
You
cup.
got to get a pair of sunglasses for the cup and maybe like a fake mustache so that you can, if I'm not ever here, you can, and then everybody will, the cup will be just as effective as me, if not more so.
I'll put a name tag on it and it'll say David in quotation marks.
There's literally no downside. Literally no downside whatsoever.
I'm glad we can have fun on the show, guys. This is hilarious. I'm loving it. Okay. Let's see. If I'm not mistaken, we only have 3 backup O linemen. So this is something we were talking about earlier, David, before the show. Let's cover some of the positions in which we are really hurting in our depth. You want to take that one to begin with?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is another one, guys. If you go to BroncosOrangeWeekly.com, we're going to have some articles posted. I actually just put one up today regarding the roster, the complete roster rundown, all the positions that we've got going. And one of the weakest position groups, I think it's not going to be a surprise to anybody, is offensive line on this team. We do have just 3 guys there at depth outside the starters. You've got Austin Schlottman, Elijah Wilkinson, and a waiver wire pickup, Corey Levin. So none of the guys, only 2 of the guys that they had in camp this year, they decided were worth keeping on the final 53 outside of your 5 starters, which, it's kind of a league-wide problem at a certain point. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. Offensive linemen are just a scarcity in this league. Good ones are hard to come by, and college systems are running less and less pro-style offenses, so there are only more and more offensive linemen coming into the league who have no idea how to play offensive line the way that it has to be played in this league to be successful. So like I said, at a certain point, every team has a depth problem at offensive line. And the guys that they kept, especially Austin Schlottman and Elijah Wilkinson, are guys who can play different positions.
Right.
Schlottman plays both guard and center. Wilkinson plays both tackle positions as well as guard. They tested him out at left guard this preseason. So they like that versatility. Everybody's wants to have that versatility on an NFL roster, basically at every position except quarterback. You want your guys to be able to do different things, and even now the quarterback position is as versatile as it's ever been. But that's what you really saw prized in those offensive linemen when they were choosing the backups. And you've got as good a coaching as we've said before, a good a coach in Mike Munchak as you could ask for to coach those guys up a little bit. Corey Levin is, I think, a guy we pulled from, I can't remember who cut him. It might have been the Patriots. But he plays basically exclusively center. So if we have to see any backup center position from anybody, he may be, I don't know if he'd be the 3rd string that comes in after Schlottman comes in 2nd string. But, that's a guy who hopefully you don't know his name because you don't have to see him all that much this season. I'm sure he's a hard worker and does his job well. But I'd rather make sure the offensive line starters just stay in there the entire season. That'd be just fine for me.
What about that inside linebacker position? And it's been something that's been talked about the whole preseason, and we know how much trouble the Broncos have had covering tight ends, especially just having issues on that inside linebacker position in general. I know we don't have too much depth there either, but it's something that those guys really need to step up and make something happen because, again, we're going to be playing Kansas City twice this year. We're going to be playing half-decent tight ends pretty much all year. And, again, teams know that the Denver Broncos' weakness the last 2 years, one of the weaknesses, has been covering tight ends. And I think that really stems from the inside linebacker position in general. So, David, what do you think that are we going to be able to cover tight ends more often this year? Or are we still looking at a possible issue there?
Well, I think that's something that's going to be schemed away, not players.
No, it wasn't schemed away last year either.
Right.
And this has been an issue since Peyton Manning era.
That we had last year.
Well, hopefully.
I think that's something. Yeah, I think that's something that Vic Fangio is going to be able to. I trust Vic Fangio to be able to put his players in a better position to succeed than Vance Joseph certainly was with those same players and different players. You've got a guy like Kareem Jackson in the secondary, who I think is going to go a long way toward solving those abilities. Like I said, I don't think a certain player or players are going to lock down that position or that issue for us. I think it's going to be a question of scheme this year that really takes care of that for us. I think our defensive masterminds are going to have that a little bit better tightened up than it certainly has been in the past. We're not going to see second string Seattle tight ends be going for 150 yards on us this season, I don't think.
That's the hope. I just know, looking back, this has been a problem since the Peyton Manning era. Okay, so
Definitely.
If Vic Fangio can't scheme this out and iron out that problem, it's not a coaching problem. It's a player problem. If our offensive line cannot perform to at least a decent standard this year, and look at Garrett Bowles, if he can't perform well this year, it's not a coaching problem. Mike Munchak is not the problem. Vic Fangio, in terms of calling and scheming defenses, is not the problem. We have essentially eliminated that side of the equation as being the issue. So now we're looking to see, hey, can these guys step up with these, outstanding coaches, especially the offensive line? And if they can't, well, then we got to look at the personnel we have on the field because something's going on there, if you ask me.
No, definitely. But I think we're going to see improvement in both areas.
What I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping for. I just want to be cautiously optimistic.
Absolutely. Yeah, cautious is the word.
Hey, guys. My name's Kev Dan. I'm joined here by David on Beer Broncos No BS. Glad you can join us here tonight. Keep posting your comments. Questions will be around for a little bit longer. We want to hear more of what you guys think of what the upcoming Monday night game is going to be or what it's going to look like on ESPN at 8:20 p.m. Mountain Time. We want to hear some of your score predictions, so start posting those as well, and we'll see kind of what the consensus is of what you guys think. David, before we start talking about our score predictions, I know we want to talk about the wide receiver core as well. I don't know if we've really broken that down too well at this point. So, thoughts on the wide receiver core in general? I think I've seen some articles where people aren't too excited just because you got Emmanuel Sanders on one side and second-year / rookie players on the other side. So, what are you expecting from this wide receiver core?
Well, the big word to look at this wide receiver core is upside. And, of course, there's reason for doubt just because there's not a lot of proven commodities in this squad besides, of course, Emmanuel Sanders, who's coming back from an Achilles injury, which historically is an injury that is tough to recover from speed-wise. It's really, really tough to come back from those Achilles injuries and be the guy that you were beforehand when you were when you were very fast like Emmanuel Sanders was, especially for a guy who's past 30 like he is. That being said, in his 3 preseason reps, but everything we've heard out of training camp certainly suggests that Emmanuel Sanders is back. If that's the case, this whole wide receiver core takes 2 big steps forward. We saw last year how kind of ineffectual they were, not only as a core but as an offense without Sanders. With him, though, you're going to get better looks for other guys like Deshaun Hamilton, who I talked a little bit about earlier. Courtland Sutton, obviously, with his size advantages and his ability to create mismatches down the field, is going to be a guy who certainly should benefit from having Emmanuel Sanders back. And it's going to open things up for the tight ends, too. That's an important part of this offense is going to be throwing the ball to those tight ends out of two tight end formations. So guys like Noah Fant, who are going to have space to work with underneath and who can create mismatches themselves, are going to be able to have those run after the catch opportunities because these wide receivers hopefully are going to be spacing the field a little bit. That's one thing I'm really going to be looking for, is to see if with that speed combined with the size that we have in Sutton and the route running abilities of Hamilton, whether or not these are going to be a much more effective wide receiver core and more effective looking than they were last season. That's what I'll be looking for.
The run game is going to impact the passing game.
Yep.
Which stems from the offensive line. Which stems from, being able, or, has the impact on keeping Flacco standing for that pass game. You ask me, it comes down to the offensive line. And I think the reason Vic Fangio was able to talk Mike Munchak into being the offensive line coordinator so he could be close to home with his family and everything. They grew up close to each other, so they can be working together and all that stuff. But at the same time, the reason we wanted him, I think, even be our head coach is because we know what he's capable of. So I think that the front office, the Broncos front office, knows how big of a problem this is in terms of the success of the offense. And so I'm telling you, I'm going to be watching that offensive line probably more than anything else, because I think when it comes to Cortland Sutton, Manuel Sanders, Deshaun Hamilton, obviously Jake Butt's out, but when we get Janovich back, we know Noah Fant, we have these weapons there. We got Phillip Lindsay, Royce Freeman in the backfield. When Theo Riddick comes back, we have Flacco, who can at least, be very decent at times and make those long passes because he has the arm. If that's not working, I'm saying look at the offensive line. That's probably where the core problem is, man.
We'll just have to see, because
we'll just have to see.
It's not. Of course, we're not saying anything earth-shattering when we say things like, as goes your offensive line, so goes your offense. But it's worth repeating over and over again, just because this team has had so many issues.
Exactly.
We've drafted guys, we've brought in free agents, we've changed coaches, and it's been a problem for years and years and years. And so at a certain point, hopefully the front office has, maybe changed up their approach a little bit, just to how they evaluate guys. And, certainly a second rounder like Dalton Reisner would be able to plug in at left guard and start right away. Seems like we're trending in the right direction there.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have to see what we get from this group. It looks like an improved group on paper. Let's see them go out on the field and prove it against a Raiders team that, let's face it, their defensive line is not one of the top half in the league when I think about it.
Right.
If they can't show up against the less than stellar defensive group for the Oakland Raiders, there's going to be some questions there.
Lots of questions.
They're going to have to answer very, very quickly.
Yep. Let's see. In terms of score predictions, guys, keep posting your score predictions. We're going to bring up the schedule here in a minute as well. Joey says 24-17, Chubb 2 sacks and a forced fumble. Okay. I could see that happening against that Oakland defense. Michael says 31-17 Denver with 3 long bombs. So we have some thoughts on defensive side making some big impacts, and Flacco making some big positive impacts as well. Everyone else watching, keep posting those and we'll bring them up. So it's interesting to see that we have some, both the offensive and defensive side of the ball making those positive impacts, because again, when's the last time we really saw the offense do anything, I won't say positive, but meaningful, in the last several years. So
that's the most beautiful thing about it being the beginning of the season is we
right.
just don't know.
I know.
Optimism springs eternal.
I want to know.
And who knows? Joe Flacco could go off for 5 freaking touchdowns in this game.
Right.
It's not very likely, but you know what?
Possible.
Things happen. It's the NFL. And I, for one, would love to see it. I'm loving seeing the optimism about the offense for the first time. And it seems like years, because it probably is. So let's just ride with it for now and see where it takes us. Because, when you look back at the quarterback play we've seen over the last few years, it really can't get that much worse since we didn't sign Blake Bortles. Yep. So, I'm looking forward to whatever we get.
Let's see, Dominic says 28-17 Broncos. I like it. Cool. Now, this week, we're going to go ahead and give you our score predictions on, I think, David, what we can do is both here on the show and on the podcast. But a little later on, maybe even starting next week, if you guys want to hear some more of those specific score predictions and some other exclusive content, we need you to go donate at our Patreon. Not only are you going to get some exclusive content, but we're going to be giving away some prizes this year as well every month. We have one Patreon right now, which is very much appreciated, Eric. But right now, so I'm doing the drawing for this Peyton Manning plaque tomorrow at the end of the Get Vocal show. If you guys don't want this prize to just immediately go to Eric, we need you guys to help us out a little bit. Go donate. Even if it's $1, you get entered for a monthly prize as well as a season-ending prize. I think we're going to do something like a jersey, but we'll let you guys know. But seriously, in all regards, you guys are fantastic. We love doing this for you guys. And if you donate, we're going to make sure that we help you guys out as well, providing some free or some exclusive content in terms of us talking a little bit more, giving you some score predictions, and just a couple other little things. So go check out patreon.com/orangeweekly, and if you want that plaque, you can find out as early as tomorrow if you're going to get it or not. And if not, then there's going to be another prize next month, and on and on and on. Okay, before we give our score predictions, David, let me pull up the schedule here. Man, the first, minus the Raiders game on Monday, the next 4 games after that are tough. And then we're not really given a break because, we're playing Tennessee at home, but then we got Kansas City. Might be getting a break against the Colts based off of what happened to Drew Luck. Andrew Luck, yeah. Drew Luck, Andrew Luck, yeah. And then the Browns. The first half of the season, I don't even look past the bye week right now. The first half of the season looks really intense. So, David, what are some of your just big picture thoughts, especially maybe in the first 2 or 3 weeks there?
Boy, it is not an easy schedule for these Broncos who were third place last year and somehow end up with teams like the Bears, Packers, and Chargers in the first 5 weeks of the season here. So it's, I'm glad. At a certain point, I'm glad because we're going to find out who this team is fairly quickly and whether they can hang fairly quickly. The first, and it's always the case where there are some surprise teams and some teams who were good last season and turn out to just be huge disappointments the season that you're currently in. So, of course, none of these teams could end up being challenges, or all of them could end up being, 41 to 10 slaughters. It could go either way this season, but certainly on paper, based on last season's results, or based on, just guys they've got on the roster. The Packers last season were not that good, but they've got Aaron Rodgers back now, and that game's in Green Bay. That's that's going to be one of the toughest games of the Broncos' entire year, is what I would say, except when I look down their schedule later, they've got teams like Cleveland, they've got teams like the Chargers again, the Chiefs again, obviously. Of course, you're in your division there. There's not a lot of cupcakes on this schedule for this team. And so, like I said, I'm glad of that because we're going to find out fairly quickly who this team is and what they're going to be able to get through this season together. But if you were looking for a schedule to maybe start off 4-1 or 3-2 and then get into the meat of your tough schedule, that's not going to be this year, Broncos fans. We're going to find out very, very fast what this team's made of.
If we can start 3-2, I'm going to be happy. But at the end of the day, if we're going to get to 10 wins, we're going to need to steal some. We have to beat Oakland twice. Week 1 and Week 17. We've got to do it. Ideally, we'll beat the Chargers twice. Ideally. But then we need to steal a win against the Chiefs, which we almost did twice last year, both at Arrowhead and in Denver. I mean, we almost made it happen, minus some coaching snafus there, I think it's possible, but you're right. I think the reputation this team's going to have for the rest of the season is going to be formulated in the first 3-4 weeks of the season. And then that's just who the Broncos are going to be known as because of the type of teams we're playing early on. If we're 2-2 in the first 4 weeks, you can bet that everyone's going to expect us to go 8-8. Yep. If we're 3-2, come week 5, okay, now maybe people are going to say, well, this team could become, that 10-6 team. If they keep stealing some games. So it's an interesting schedule for sure. But you're right. You hit the nail on the head, man. First several weeks minus week 1 is going to be tough. And that's why I'm glad we're starting with the Raiders. Again, it's week 1. Anything can happen, but it is the Raiders. and you're looking at our schedule, I don't want to be playing Green Bay in Lambeau Field week 1. I don't want to be playing the Chargers in their stadium week 1. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, or the Chiefs. The Charger Stadium is like, another home game for the Broncos. But the Chiefs. Anyway. The Chiefs is what I meant. So, but yeah, man. So let's go to this because we're getting close to the end of the show. And guys, appreciate you watching again tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. GetVocal.com. We got the good, the bad, and the ugly show. And then make sure you watch for the pregame podcast with David and Matt here soon as well. David, score predictions and what you think is going to happen.
Well, you know what? First of all, it always feels good to start the season predicting a Broncos win.
Right.
Especially when I do think they're actually going to win, which I do. So somebody kind of stole my thunder a little bit with that 28-17 prediction earlier. So I'll adjust downward just a little bit. I'll go 24-17 Broncos. I think we win by a touchdown. I think the defense shows up and is nasty. I think the offense takes a little longer than we'd like to get on the field. But I think we're not to get on the field, but get going. Right. But I do think they show enough to give us optimism rolling into that next week against Chicago at home, that they're going to be an offense that we can at least count on to be entertaining week in and week out. So that's my score prediction, 24-17. Go Broncos.
I think our defense is going to be a little better than giving up 17 points. I like the score of 24 for the Broncos, but honestly, I think we can hold them to 13.
Very nice.
Touchdown and 2 field goals. I think our defense is that strong, especially with Vic Fangio calling those plays. And we know what Gruden does. I mean, it's not going to be a surprise what Gruden puts on the field. We've seen him, 2 years now? So they have that game tape on who Gruden is as a coach. They don't really know too much about what we're going to do. They probably have some big picture, ideas, especially on the defense side of the ball. But in terms of the offense, they don't really know too much what we're going to do. But I still think that defense is going to be prepared to go out there and just ruin Derek Carr's day. I think you put Chris Harris Jr. on Antonio Brown, he's going to be more or less shut down all game. I think that our defense can do a little bit better than allowing 17 points. Offense, 21-24. I like that score range. So my final, I'm going to be a little more optimistic, 24-13.
Okay, I like it.
So we'll see.
Yeah, that defense could be tough this year. It could be a top 5 unit.
It could be what gets us above that 500 team. It could get us in that 9-7, 10-6 team is the defense.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Okay, guys. Let's see. Joey says he thinks we'll be Casey this year. God, I hope so, because us losing to them all the time. I just hear from my best friend who's a Kansas City fan. And I don't know why we're best friends, but just the last couple years, it just doesn't stop. So, any closing thoughts, David?
At the end of the day, who's got the trophies? Who's got the rings? I'm just,
I can count. I got them up here. Oh, yeah. 3.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Just saying. We talk rings, not wins, but that's okay.
That's right.
Any other closing thoughts, man?
Man, it's just been an awfully long off season, hasn't it?
Oh, we're back. We're back.
It's been hot. We had bomb cyclones here in Colorado. It was atrocious, but we're finally here. The fall winds are starting to blow again, and that means it's football time. I am so glad to be back. I know all of Broncos Country agrees with me. Just want to remind you guys again, check out BroncosOrangeWeekly.com. We're going to have some articles coming up. I just wrote one today. We're going to have Matt bringing one up pretty soon for us, and you're going to want to check that content throughout the year, because we're going to have awesome articles almost every single week for you guys. So definitely check that out. Check us out on Patreon, on Twitter, on Facebook. All of the above.
Yeah, it's going to be, we're in full swing here at Orange Weekly, guys, and you guys should be excited.
Regular season mode.
It's fantastic. Preseason was rough for us as well, as we're trying to work out some kinks, but we're back full swing, and lots of stuff. If you ever want some, just top-notch, some awesome Broncos content from fans just like you guys, that's where you come to Orange Weekly. That's what we're here for, guys. We're here for you. So check out all that stuff. We are improving, like David said, bringing you some blogs, and I'm just ready for those podcasts as well. But with that being said, guys, we will be back. I'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. GetVocal.com. You can watch us on Facebook as well for that show, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and we'll break down even more Broncos football for you guys. So thanks a lot, everyone. David, thanks as usual for joining us. You're fantastic as always.
Oh, Kevin, the same to you. My goodness. And to Broncos Country, you've been amazing. The show doesn't go on without you. So what we do means nothing without you guys. Thanks for watching and thanks for participating.
We got a message from Shelby Harris here that you might or may not have seen before, but shout out from Shelby Harris before we close out the show. Take care, guys. Go Broncos, and get ready for the Monday night game, Denver versus Oakland in Oakland at 8:20 Mountain Time on ESPN. Go Broncos. Take care, guys.
Hey, guys. Just want to give a huge shout out to the podcast Orange Weekly. They do great work and they have great content regarding the Broncos. Also, huge shout out to all the Denver Broncos fans out there. You guys have really just made my time in Denver amazing. And also, even when we were losing last year, you guys came out every game. So thank you guys, and I appreciate you.